G'day there once again viewers, this is your mate Kamikaze78 here, coming to you guys with some more Planetside 2 content. Today guys, we're going to be continuing the good old series that you guys have complete and total control over. That's right, the Time to Gear Up series. The series where you guys can suggest a loadout for me to use in the comment section down below, and the highest rated loadout will be featured in the next episode. Keeping in mind guys that these suggestions can be as memey or as serious as you want them to be. It's all up to you guys and your creativity. But onto the loadout at hand. Today we have a new conglomerate light assault loadout coming from good mate John Vincent Velasquez. I'm really sorry if I got that wrong, mate, but this is a light assault loadout that he has called the best in the West. So, with that in mind, let's get our cowboy hats on and get our rootin' tootin' attitudes in check and see what kind of gear we are rocking today. Also, yep, I may or may not have bought the cowboy hat especially for this episode. Anyway, the key piece of the loadout here is the good old NS44L Showdown pistol, the A7 purchasable weapon that takes very much after the NS44L Blackhand. The difference? Well, the weapon features no sights at all, making this more of a close quarters orientated version of the good old Blackhand. But considering it still has a very slow rate of fire, a fairly devastating reload time, and a low-end magazine size, the weapon is a bit more of a meme in the grand scheme of things. I mean, you can have a good time with it, but it isn't what I would call a must-own kind of option. It's all about really making use of your near-perfect cone of fire to score a couple of awesome hits on enemies, run away, reload, and come back and do it all over again, kind of like a guerrilla warfare style of weapon. But beyond its performance, it is the closest thing you can get to looking like a space cowboy in the game, and there really is a certain novelty that comes from using something like this in-game. But I digress. The only other requirements John put on this here loadout is that I must be using Gunslinger and Sensor Shield, and that I also had the choice between using a Stalker Cloak Infiltrator and a Skirmisher Light Assault. And considering that we had a couple of episodes recently as an Infiltrator, I figured we would, mix things up a little bit with a Light Assault. I mean, if you think of futuristic cowboys, do you think that they would rather take a cloaking device or a goddamn jetpack? I'm honestly gonna put my money on the jetpack. The rest was up to me to craft the perfect futuristic gunslinger that I could come up with. So, here goes. So firstly, our grenade slot. Seriously, when you think about it, how many cowboys do you know of that carry around friggin' grenades? I mean, dynamite may be a thing, yes, but that's kind of covered by our choice when it comes to C4, because once again, who in their right mind has seen a cowboy running around with a goddamn medkit? Like, in Western times, I don't think there was really a first aid combat medic role. It was all about who could shoot the fastest. So, yeah, we're carrying C4 in the utility slot, and, that's just for when a well-placed shot doesn't really work against armored targets. As for the grenade slot, as we were mentioning earlier, we're going to be taking the fusion throwing knives. Now, we've all seen the crazy bastard in the Western movies that mows people down with throwing knives with the precision of a chaotic neutral surgeon. So, why not try to have best of both worlds here by being this crazed bastard with the throwing knives, but also be the guy that is a gunslinger? Why not? Let's have some fun with it. We're also running the ammo belt for some more shots in our trusty shooter, something that actually ends up being a problem when you use this weapon as a primary weapon. Like, seriously, I ran out of ammo a lot of times while testing the optimal loadout here with this weapon. And also, yes, the rocket rifle is essentially on the loadout, but what kind of cowboy uses a small rocket rifle? So, as a result, I opted not to use it in the video. All up, the loadout is going to run you a fairly steep 4,000 A7, but only an additional 200 certs to get at least a level into everything that you can buy with certs with this kit under your belt, as a lot of the stuff here is unlocked by default on the light assault. It will cost you, though, a maximum of 2,620 certs to get everything that you can buy with certs to max rank, and your implants will still be an additional cost on top of that, based on your luck with RNGs. And that right there, guys, is what we like to call the best in the West. And my god, was this a loadout worthy of such a title. Not the guy using it. I'm definitely not the best in the West. But if you give this loadout to someone who can actually shoot well with the showdown, The title is there for the taking. Not gonna lie guys, this is far from an effective loadout. It's very much a meme loadout and a half, but holy shit, did I have some serious fun with it. Mr. John had only this to say about his loadout on top of his loadout suggestion. That being, why? Well, the Showdown is the most cowboy gun I've ever played with in this game. Can one-shot with headshots, I think he meant only on infiltrators, and more importantly, the ADS doesn't scope with 0-0 accuracy while ADSing. It feels like a fucking McCree when headshotting, and I gotta love the enthusiasm there. And I gotta tell you guys, every time I got just a little bit tilted while using this loadout, and trust me, it happened while I was warming up with it, I had good old Dutch Vandalin in my ears yelling, "You gotta have some goddamn faith, Cammy!" And there is nothing more satisfying than slapping some guy chasing you down with an automatic weapon with a good old headshot and putting them in their place. Honestly, I did feel a bit like an old western bounty hunter with this thing, identifying targets that had lost their shields or who had just come out of an engagement with an ally of mine and putting them in the ground for daring to give my posse the stink eye. But I gotta tell you guys, if there's one thing that needs to be emphasized with this loadout, you need to be scoring headshots. As my boy John said, it feels like a fucking McCree ult when headshotting, because if you ain't pulling these headshots, you're a dead man. You honestly need to be running a McCree ultimate level of accuracy 24/7 if you want to have any hope of being consistently successful with this loadout. And as someone who can't pull off that level of accuracy, it was a rough ass time. There were a few occasions where I was able to get out of a sticky situation by making use of the good old throwing knives, but again, they do require you to be superbly accurate. Otherwise your character just looks like he's flinging pebbles at the enemy and not doing a very good job at it. So yeah, try to be accurate. Accuracy is just the key of this loadout. It really is. I will say one thing though. For the amount of shade I threw towards Gunslinger in my implants tier list video, this has to be one of the situations I would actually consider it worth your while. The reload speed on the pistol is, again, left to be desired. It can also leave you in the cold quite badly, so having that ability to trigger a faster reload after a kill is so helpful. However, its usefulness was varied because there were times where Gunslinger wouldn't actually trigger for some reason. So there were times where it left me in the cold, and that left me making sad cowboy noises in the corner as my enemy gunned me down. Let's make this one thing clear though, guys. It's not a very effective loadout to use. It's very much a meme kit. Don't let my fancy editing here try to convince you otherwise. I ended up with a 1.02 KD after 2 hours of running this loadout and started off with a 0.3 KD. It took me a while to get into the groove, and even after I got in the groove, it was still rough as hell. But despite that, I had a blast here. It was rewarding and just damn fun to use. And if you want to try a loadout that demands you to work on your aim and reward you with a challenging reload time, but therefore requires you to further improve on your positioning, this is the loadout to do it with. In saying that, make the Showdown one of your last things you unlock here. Look, I really wanted to unlock the Tranquility while it is arguably overpowered. But I couldn't because I needed to do this video for you guys instead. Just to reiterate here, this is a weapon that you should only look at unlocking if you're looking for a meme time and you just want to get some, you know, rootin' tootin' cowboy shooting vibes going. Anyway guys, that is going to conclude today's Time to Gear Up episode. Episode number 50. My god, we're halfway to 100 in this series. This has definitely been one of the longest running series here on the channel, and I thank you guys for your continuous support of it. If you enjoyed today's video, a backhand of the like button would be greatly appreciated, and if you are looking to catch up with more of my content, be sure to hit the subscribe button to keep up to date with all things that I'm releasing in the future. I've got some exciting stuff on the way for you guys here. Social media links and other ways that you can support the channel are also linked in the description down below, and you can also find stuff like Twitch down there as well. Once again guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I look forward to seeing your next loadout suggestions, and I will see you guys all in the next one. Take care guys, have a good one.